right through it. Every story, every voice, every fact under the spotlight. Because Nigerians don't need noise, they need clarity. So if you're tired of spin and ready for sense, welcome.
I'm Maryann Okon, and this is Hard Facts.
Nigeria Info 99.3. Let's talk.
Nigeria's biggest decisions start with the hardest questions, and I'm asking them on Hard Facts 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. Three minutes gone past the 5 o'clock hour, welcoming you to the nation's #1 talk news and sports radio station. We're broadcasting live from our audiovisual studios right here in Itamayan Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. I'm Maryann Okon. This is Hard Facts. Today we're going to be talking about the new tax administration platform, Rev 360. We're going to be talking about the timing and the concerns that have been raised, because the truth is, a couple of us are still struggling with the fact that we still have to file our taxes at the end of the year. I remember a lot of people were running helter-skelter when the NRS gave that deadline. Well, anytime I want to talk about tax issues, my very good friend, Mr. Onasanmi, always joins me because he knows everything about these numbers and how these things work. My brain just goes mush when I hear too many figures, but he's the guy that will help us understand everything about this whole tax issue. But let me give you some background, and then, of course, I'll introduce my guest properly. As a country, we know that we're entering a new tax era. The Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, which has now transitioned into the Nigerian Revenue Service, NRS, under the broader tax reform agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. As part of that transition, the government is rolling out a new digital tax administration platform called Rev 360. Now, Rev 360 is scheduled to go live on April 30, 2026, a couple of days from today. Now, according to the NRS, Rev 360 is not just an upgrade from Tax Pro Max. It is what they call Tax Administration 3.0, a system built around end-to-end automation, real-time reporting, embedded tax processes, electronic invoicing, automated tax computation, and faster compliance monitoring. The first phase targets medium emerging taxpayers, with phased expansion which is expected to come later. Now, government says that it will improve transparency, it will reduce leakages, it will boost compliance, it will increase non-oil revenue, and simplify every taxpayer's experience. But many Nigerians are asking very difficult questions like, is this the right time for tougher tax administration when inflation is still crushing households? I mean, including mine. Will SMEs survive another compliance burden? Again, are businesses in this country ready for a real-time invoice clearance and e-invoicing? Most importantly, can our government demand more taxes when citizens still complain about poor roads? We complain about weak healthcare, insecurity, epileptic power supply, and several other issues. And perhaps maybe the biggest question, which is this a genuine reform, or simply a mere sophisticated way to extract more money and revenue from the already struggling Nigerian population? Well, my guest will help us to answer these questions. Is Rev 360 solving our tax problem or creating new ones? My guest is a superb tax expert, and I'd love to have him in the studio. Unfortunately, it's a Monday. He's somewhere in his office. He has to do some work. Emmanuel Onasanmi joins me live via Zoom. Mr. Onasanmi, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Maryann, for having me. Thank you.
Lovely. So let's start by understanding this Rev 360. For Nigerians just hearing about this, what exactly is this Rev 360 and how is it different from the Tax Pro Max?
Okay, so, we're in the era of technology, and it's largely believed that, anything you are doing, whether domestically or globally, if you fail to integrate technology, then you are not doing it right. You will soon be walking in the era of Stone Age, because at the pace that technology is moving, every, both private and government institution, are looking forward to leverage technology to, make processes easier, simpler, and make things better. So, Nigeria started this journey, by the introduction of the tax promas, which in 2021, which was a landmark, progress in the system was largely manual and paper-based. And the tax promas platform was largely for filing purposes, and you could barely do beyond filing and processing your tax clearance certificate on tax promas. Following the work that the committee did on the new tax law and the need to also leverage technology to improve on our tax administration, they found that bringing another platform, rather than improving on the older one that was domestically, developed, which is called the Rev 360, is game changer, which they've called Tax Administration 3.0 and end-to-end automation of the entire tax administration system. So, according to the NRS, this system it goes beyond just filing of your returns. It speaks to managing your wallet, giving you real-time data about your compliance status, and also provide some level of revenue engagement. You are engaging your tax offices through those platforms without necessarily, going to the office. And lastly, when you're also being audited, the platform is also, according to the NRS, will be able to, assist largely to make audit exercises more efficient rather than what we used to have before. And overall, this looks like a very brilliant initiative coming from the NRS and, from the committee that has, recommended this, but while we are not averse to technology, both from the consultant's perspective and also the taxpayer's perspective, some issues are just on the table, that may need for, a second, consideration, particularly from the fact that this conversation around Rev 360 just barely started about 2 or 3 months ago. And everything is just moving very fast, and taxpayers and both consultants may be struggling to catch up.
Absolutely. Now, the NRS is telling us that Tax Administration 3.0 is built around real-time reporting and, embedded tax systems, as you've said. In practical terms, what does this mean for a trader, a small business owner, or a corporate taxpayer? Because these are people on different levels. What does this mean for them? How do they receive this and deal with it in real time?
So one way or the other, if you are doing business in any cadre, whether as a large corporation or as a medium-sized business or a small-scale business, you definitely have some form of interaction with the NRS. Particularly when it comes to subject of transaction taxes like value-added tax, withholding taxes, and some of those taxes that you have interaction with the NRS. So what the NRS is simply saying is that, once this goes live, there will be a phased, transition away from the tax programs, where everybody will then need to find a way for onboarding on this new platform and start, managing your tax, compliance going forward using Rev 360. So, if you are a small trader and you have VAT obligation, you still have to interact with this platform. Any obligation, tax obligation that the NRS is likely the agency of government managing, then no matter the size of the business that you have, then you will still have to interact this platform. So it is in the interest of every business to start paying attention to the conversation in this direction so that you are not caught unaware and be proactive in reaction.
Be patient with us because you are our teacher today, you're the lecturer, and we're the students. We're taking notes, okay? The platform talks about e-invoicing, where tax authorities may authenticate invoices in real time before they go to customers. Is that an efficient form of, taxation, or form of new technology, or excessive surveillance of businesses?
Okay, the tax environment now is one of the core pillar of tax, globally now, which Nigeria has also embraced, is tax transparency. And that's what NRS has tried to use technology to achieve. Rather than waiting for your auditor to audit your books and say, okay, this is so much revenue that you have. The NRS about a year ago, launched the e-invoicing merchant buyer solution where some categories of taxpayer have already started integrating their accounting system, their enterprise resource planning system, to connect with the system of the NRS. And what are they simply saying? What they are simply saying is that as you are issuing invoices to your customer, before you send it to your customers, you are sending it to your customer. The FRS is also receiving that, mirror or that copy of that invoice, just as you are sending it to your customer. To the end that when you are filing your tax obligation, there will be less disputes, and there will be less adversarial conversation around what your revenue is, because they also have a mirror of all the invoices that you have raised in the course of the year. This is very important for the purpose of compliance, especially for VAT, which is largely resident on sales, which is largely dependent on, sales that you have made. And also, corporate taxes, which seeks to establish, your true revenue. So with this technology, the tax authority will have more information to corroborate whatever your auditor is saying your books look like at the end of the year.
So will this in any way, are you giving us the assurance here on behalf of the NRS or the LIRS that it will reduce corruption and human interference, or simply just digitize and give us more bottlenecks in the system?
Okay, so to be fair to the NRS, and I must give kudos to the guys that put in place this system. One of the best, data security architecture has been, employed in the deployment of the e-invoicing system. If for those people that are very, concerned with cybersecurity and data protection, they know about PEPO. PEPO is one of the, most revered organization in the world when it comes to, data security. And what the NRS did is that they never claimed that they had the expertise to collect this data, without any form of breach or any form of compromise. So what they did was to engage with IT companies, and before you can be, assigned as an accredited service provider, who are typically called APPs, you have to then be certified by PEPO. That certification means that, you are able to collect data securely through your systems, without any form of breach, such that we reduce the public confidence. So the e-invoicing system is plugged in through this accredited, tech organizations based in Nigeria. They are listed on the website of the NRS, in the likes of InterSwitch, Chams, PLC, eTransact, and all of those guys, and it's expected that, they are all people certified to ensure that, data integrity is protected, and we won't have any, level of fraud within the system that will then lead to, litigation. So the Red 360 is also plugged into this system so that, you can then pick up your tax compliance from whatever records of invoices that the NRS now has on their database.
Lovely. So let's talk about the timing for this rollout. Like I said in my opening, it's starting on April 30. This rollout is happening at a time when Nigerians are battling, I'm underlining the word battling, inflation. High transportation costs is breaking our backs. Some of us are considering that we might be working from home now. And let's not even start to talk about the energy costs. You have to buy petrol for your generator, petrol for your car, because there's no power. And of course, you see, our salaries are not going higher. It's still stagnant. So the purchasing power is low, but the cost of living is high. The timing, is it appropriate? Is it good? Or can they stagger it? I mean, I don't know. It's not within your power, but as someone who's an expert, what would you be prescribing to the federal government?
Okay, thank you very much. From the timing perspective, I quickly address the issue of additional compliance burden on the taxpayer. There has been comments around, from taxpayer to say, the cost of complying with the e-invoicing.
Oh, Mr. Onasanmi, are you there? I think that the network has cut you out. Are you?
Hello, can you see me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. You're back.
Can you see me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, okay.
We lost you for a few
Okay.
minutes.
Oh, okay. So I can go ahead now.
Yes.
Please come back. So I was speaking to your comment around the cost of implementing some of these measures that the NRS are coming with, and we've been getting feedback from the taxpayers, about the cost of engaging system integrators to help them, deploy the merchant buyer solution into their accounting software, and that's something that maybe the government wants to pay attention to, but give it to NRS when it comes to transiting to Rep 360. I am not sure whether.
There goes the internet again, not allowing us to hear you.
That will be required from the taxpayer. So can you hear me?
Yeah, but we lost you. You were saying that you were, in terms of timing, you are not sure of what. We lost that train of thought.
So in time of timing, the biggest issue around timing is the fact that conversation are going on. The NRS is migrating from a simple, system, which requires just that people file their returns and process their tax clearance certificate, which is the tax promat, and they are, migrating into a more robust, solution that captures tax administration end to end. A bit of caution needs to be a bit exercised here because this is the first time, this is going to be done. And more so, concerns are being raised because, you may think that, you are engaging the public, but businesses at the moment are kind of busy trying to prepare their accounts. Auditors are also busy trying to help businesses get their accounts ready for filing and all that. And while we hear that, this has been phased, to capture the medium and emerging taxpayers to start with, the real concern is that, when it comes to technology, you cannot be too sure, of how the whole thing, will land until you do it and you realize that, you are successful at it. Even if the best of technology guys are the ones that deploy the solution. If you work with technology folks, for those of us that do a bit of IT advisory, there's something that we call a pilot, pilot running. You have done all your due diligence to ensure that there is no issue. But at the end of the day, you just realize that there's one bug there that, that needs to be fixed before you can go live with a solution. I know they must have done a lot of testing, but within the stakeholders, conversations are ongoing that, this startup implementation would have been better, after the filing season, which is 30th June of this year, because that would have given, taxpayers the opportunity to process their filing using the existing system, which you can then start migrating to the new system, subsequent to the filing season. So, except the tax authority are interested in waiving penalty, they are interested in, possibly allowing both system to run end to end. The truth remains that, the education out there is still not enough. I know there's a series of training going on out there, but the real gist is that the people that were supposed to be attending that training, they are busy trying to get their accounts ready, consultant busy trying to make sure that, client to miss the June 30th deadline, and they may not really be, paying so much attention about all the fine details of this implementation. I have had conversation in one forum or the other before, and it's something that maybe needs to really be taught very well. For the possibility of moving it to sometimes around 1st of July for implementation.
Wow. should the government be focusing on economic reforms and relief somewhat? Because the government will tell you that their reforms are working, but then the average Nigerian and our bellies and our pockets will tell you that those reforms are not working, and we need some sort of relief and cushioning effects for the inflation that we're experiencing. Should they be prioritizing this before tax expansion?
Okay, so if I can respond to that, economic policies reforms, they don't work on a standalone basis. You understand? They are expected to complement each other for you to be able to extract the benefits of the reform. And it is also fair to mention that, economic reform typically have what we call gestation period, meaning that, when reforms are going on, the impact on the economy and the people may not be felt in the immediate, but it is expected that when the impact starts coming in, it leads to the prosperity of the people. There are differing opinions whether, the gestation period of this current government is still in fact, a very early stage to be assessed whether the reforms are working in the interest of the people or not, or whether they already passed the gestation period of their economic reforms, and then maybe the reforms are not just, yielding any positive for Nigerians. And I believe I will leave that debate for the politicians to do, but what we are seeing from our end is that, some of the reforms that are happening in the tax environment with the use of technology and leveraging technology, these are positives, because I can see a lot of bureaucracy being cut off, through this technology, but we just want them to pay attention to the fact that, the timing may take away from the shine of the reform, if not carefully evaluated.
Well, we'll take a quick break, Lagos. When we come back, we'll talk more. And then, of course, if you have questions, whether you're a private business, you're a small business, you're a corporation, well, your questions might be getting answers today. Emmanuel Onasanmi is with us. When we come back from the break, stay with us.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
Now this mad cash way, they know they chat shishi. No be cha-cha-cha, now it sounds mad cash. Steady on my lane, every payment seamless. No hidden charges, everything transparent. Star 939 hash, oh yeah, clock it. No be cha-cha-cha, I'm on a zero charges. I'm on a zero charge.
Zero charge, if you testify. No be cha-cha-cha.
Every transfer smooth, no extra billing, oh shit.
No be cha-cha-cha.
Smart cash, that the way evidence stay, oh shit.
No be cha-cha-cha.
No be cha-cha-cha.
No be cha-cha-cha.
No be cha-cha-cha.
Yeah, so this is Jolly Johnny on the streets. How well do you know Maggi chicken flavor? Oh yeah, spell celery.
Celery. Celery.
Bros, you want turn to salary? Okay, spell turmeric.
Turmeric.
Yes, so
Turmeric.
correct. One carton of Maggi chicken flavor for you.
Maggi chicken flavor with onions, celery, and turmeric. My game changer.
CFAO Mobility invites you to the CFAO Mobility Open Day. Discover 14 global brands in one place. Toyota, BYD, Mitsubishi, Suzuki, Howo, Fuso, and many more. All under one roof. From cars and SUVs to pickups, trucks, buses, motorcycles, outboard engines, and construction equipment. Come test drive your next ride. Get free vehicle diagnostics and enjoy special spare parts offers with financing partners on ground. April 30th, Harbour Point, Victoria Island. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Entry is free. CFAO Mobility. All your mobility in one place.
I found something inside my Nescafe Original 3-in-1 pack the other day. A unique code printed inside.
Yes, so every pack of Nescafe Original 3-in-1 now comes with a code inside in the Nescafe Next Level promo. Just text the code to *7022# and you could win 500,000 naira cash, business tools, and training. Up to 1 million naira in prizes to be won. Promo runs until June 30th, 2026. T's and C's apply. Nescafe. Make your world.
Abeg, remind me, what did we May Day again?
May Day na Labor Day now. Every 1st of May.
Labor Day don't change, oh. It not just be holiday again.
It change? What do you mean?
May Day don't turn to extravaganza day for us workers.
Extravaganza? Talk true.
Yes, oh. Now the Grand Square May Day extravaganza on May 1st.
What did they happen for there now?
Simple. 10% discount on everything when you show your work ID.
Everything, ke?
I repeat, everything. Supermarket items, electronics, bakery, fast food, ice cream, even furniture.
Chai, big store like that. See, they remember us where they hustle.
So for head don't end, my guy. On May 1st, just waka enter Grand Square. Anything where you point, now 10% off.
So now just to carry my staff ID.
Now so, or proof of say, you dey run your own business.
Now which Grand Square be this gang?
All of them, oh. Grand Square Ikeja, VI, Abuja, and Kano.
This May Day don't turn enjoyment day for workers, so.
Exactly. The only day in the year when your work ID is worth money.
Don't miss the Grand Square May Day extravaganza. May 1st at all locations. Come ready, shop smart, celebrate your hustle.
This now after evolution.
I like on involved. See the vibe so fresh. Just talk to your phone. Money move, no stress. Voice banking on deck. We dey run things clean. Tap and pay, one touch. You dey live that dream. Uptime steady with the shop on time. Real time check every day in a line. From the old to the new, we dey set that pace. I laugh for the win, we dey run this race. This na a lot evolution. Every feature solution, tap and pay. Real time check. Voice where you use. Always online. Join the way, feel the revolution. A lot evolution. A lot evolution. Now these smart cash way, they know they chat shishi. No be cha-cha-cha, now it's a smart cash. Steady on my lane, every payment seamless. No hidden charges, everything transparent. Star 939 hash, oh yeah, clock it. No be cha-cha-cha, I'm on a zero charges. I'm on a zero charge.
Zero charge if you testify. No be cha-cha-cha.
Every transfer smooth, no extra bidding, oh shit.
No be cha-cha-cha.
Smart cash, now the way evidence stay, oh shit.
No be cha-cha-cha.
No be cha-cha-cha.
No be cha-cha-cha.
No be cha-cha-cha.
Yes, so this is Jolly Johnny on the streets. How well do you know Maggi chicken flavor? Oh yeah, spell celery.
SELARIE. Celery.
Bros, you want turn to salary? Okay, spell turmeric.
TURMERIC.
Yes, so
Turmeric.
correct. One carton of Maggi chicken flavor for you.
Maggi chicken flavor with onions, celery, and turmeric. My game changer.
2 drops of lemon, a spoon of charcoal, and salt.
What are you mixing? Why is there charcoal all over the place?
It's my teeth whitening mixture. I want to be like you.
Forget this concoction. Just use the new Pepsodent Natural Charcoal Whitening Toothpaste.
Get naturally whiter teeth with the new Pepsodent Natural Charcoal Whitening Toothpaste, made with natural activated charcoal that whitens your teeth and lemon essence that deeply cleanses. Pepsodent Charcoal, natural charcoal, whiter teeth.
Redmi A7 Pro, Redmi A7, get that Redmi A7 Pro. It's such a special phone.
Get the all-new Redmi A7 Pro today and instantly unlock 75,000 Naira in exclusive gifts. Enjoy the stunning 6.9-inch big screen and a massive 6,000 mAh battery. On the Redmi A7 Pro, your 75k reward starts now. Walk away with a free bottle of cooking oil instantly, plus a 15-month warranty and 6 months screen insurance when you buy the Redmi A7 Pro. And the bonuses keep coming. A 50% MTN data bonus for 6 months and 2 months of Spotify Premium. The new Redmi A7 Pro series retails starting from 126,300 Naira only.
Redmi A7 Pro.
Since 1984, Sunu Assurances Nigeria PLC has practiced insurance business in Nigeria. Today, as a member of the Sunu Group with presence in 17 African countries, we move forward towards becoming the leading insurance business in Africa. We invite our valued shareholders to participate in our capital raising of 9.3 billion naira through a rights issue of 2,075,285,714 shares of 50 kobo each at 4 naira 50 kobo per share on the basis of 5 shares for every 14 shares held as at Thursday, 12th of February 2026. The acceptance list opens Monday, 13th of April 2026 and closes on Wednesday, 20th of May 2026. Hurry, collect your rights circular and complete your acceptance form to retain your beneficial holding in the company. Consult your stockbroker or professional advisor for guidance. Sunu Assurances Nigeria PLC. Insurance, our business.
If you haven't been to Euphoria Restaurant, you're really missing out. Located in the heart of Odikoyi, this place has it all. An indoor and outdoor lounge with a pool bar to enjoy our delicious and very affordable fusion cuisines and refreshing cocktails. It's the best options for date nights, birthday parties, and private events. So what are you waiting for? Come over tonight for a euphoric and luxurious experience. You will not regret. For reservations, call 081-157-80020.
LG Duo Cool Mosquitoes away. Air conditioner keeps mosquitoes far away. LG Duo Cool.
And because LG cares beyond products, eligible customers can access free malaria insurance upon purchase of an air conditioner from Fuani Showroom or any authorized dealer store nationwide.
Remind me, what did be Mayday again?
Mayday na Labor Day now. Every 1st of May.
Labor Day don't change, oh. It not just be holiday again.
It change? What do you mean?
Mayday don't turn to extravaganza day for us workers.
Extravaganza? Talk true.
Yes, oh. Now the Grand Square Mayday extravaganza on May 1st.
What did they happen for there now?
Simple. 10% discount on everything when you show your work ID.
Everything, ke?
I repeat, everything. Supermarket items, electronics, bakery, fast food, ice cream, even furniture.
Chai, big store like that. See, they remember us where they hustle.
So for head don't end, my guy. On May 1st, just waka enter Grand Square. Anything where you point, now 10% off.
So now just to carry my staff ID.
Now so, or proof of say, you dey run your own business.
Now which Grand Square be this gang?
All of them, oh. Grand Square Ikeja, VI, Abuja, and Kano.
This May Day don't turn enjoyment day for workers, so.
Exactly. The only day in the year when your work ID is worth money.
Don't miss the Grand Square May Day extravaganza. May 1st at all locations. Come ready, shop smart, celebrate your hustle.
Stop. That biz is off.
It still sounds good.
It's good, but it's not good enough.
Can I get an Amstel Malta, man?
Being your best lives in the details. Again. Yeah, better, but still not your best. Being your best refines you. Aha, yes, that's it. Being your best is not just about dreaming about it. You also have to work towards it. Amstel Malta. Be your best.
2 drops of lemon, a spoon of charcoal, and salt.
What are you mixing? Why is there charcoal all over the place?
It's my teeth whitening mixture. I want to be like you.
Forget this concoction. Just use the new Pepsodent Natural Charcoal Whitening Toothpaste.
Get naturally whiter teeth with the new Pepsodent Natural Charcoal Whitening Toothpaste, made with natural activated charcoal that whitens your teeth and lemon essence that deeply cleanses. Pepsodent Charcoal, natural charcoal, whiter teeth.
Babylon show with another one. With the ointment with for strong pens when you can stop. Like a dry tease, I must select. Rub, extra mentor. You rub, extra mentor. Baba, he don't walk well. Sister, he don't have show.
Sabi da ke shiga duk inda ke ciwo don kawo sauki. Yi amfani da Rob Extra Menthol a yau don inganci da sauki nan take. Idan alaman ciwon ya wuce kwana biyu, a tuntuɓi likita.
Redmi A7 Pro, Redmi A7, get that Redmi A7 Pro. It's such a special phone.
Get the all-new Redmi A7 Pro today and instantly unlock 75,000 naira in exclusive gifts. Enjoy the stunning 6.9-inch big screen and a massive 6,000 mAh battery. On the Redmi A7 Pro, your 75k reward starts now. Walk away with a free bottle of cooking oil instantly, plus a 15-month warranty and 6 months screen insurance when you buy Buy the Redmi A7 Pro and the bonuses keep coming. A 50% MTN data bonus for 6 months and 2 months of Spotify Premium. The new Redmi A7 Pro series retails starting from 126,300 Naira only.
Redmi A7 Pro.
Now this smart cash way, they know they chat shishi. No be cha-cha-cha, now it's our smart cash. Steady on my lane, every payment seamless. No hidden charges, everything transparent. Star 939 hash, oh yeah, clock it. No be cha-cha-cha, I'm on a zero charges. I'm on a zero charge.
Zero charge if you testify. No be cha-cha-cha.
Every transfer smooth, no extra billing, no shit.
No be cha-cha-cha.
Smart cash, now the way everything stay, oh shit.
No be cha-cha-cha.
No be cha-cha-cha. No be cha-cha-cha.
Everything where you they do, you they see your efforts. As you they share love with your family, we appreciate the gesture. Our oil, we there for you, putting care in every drop for only 200 Naira. Make we join you, spread love. You they show love, oh. For all the times where you trust us with your cookies, see you. Oh. I wanna bring this 200 Naira sash and too much. You're the reason for the season, you know. Come enjoy the sachets, just 200 Naira.
Grab your Power Oil mini pack sachets for just 200 Naira.
Power oil, hey, power oil.
I found something inside my Nescafe Original 3-in-1 pack the other day. A unique code printed inside.
Yes, so every pack of Nescafe Original 3-in-1 now comes with a code inside in the Nescafe Next Level promo. Just text the code to *7022# and you could win 500,000 Naira cash, business tools, and training. Up to 1 million Naira in prizes to be won. Promo runs until June 30th, 2026. T's and C's apply. Nescafe. Make your world.
On your first day on the job, this is what your pension fund investment sounds like. On your first new job, bonuses, promotions, not forgetting that big move. Promotions. When you get a bonus for good performance, followed by promotions, partnership, until one day you retire. You see, the value you enjoy tomorrow is earned today. And with Crusader Sterling Pensions, we work harder to make sure you get a better deal on your investment when the time comes. So live the life of an MVP, most valued pensioner, knowing that Nigeria's MVPFA is working tirelessly for you. Creating wealth for retirement. Crusader Sterling Pensions, a member of the Custodian Investment PLC Group.
CFAO Mobility invites you to the CFAO Mobility Open Day. Discover 14 global brands in one place. Toyota, BYD, Mitsubishi, Suzuki, Howo, Fuso, and many more, all under one roof. From cars and SUVs to pickups, trucks, buses, motorcycles, outboard engines, and construction equipment. Come test drive your next ride, get free vehicle diagnostics, and enjoy special spare parts offers with financing partners on ground. April 30th, Harbour Point, Victoria Island, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Entry is free. CFAO Mobility. All your mobility in one place.
Back with everything food. Back with everything drinks. Back with everything good. Celebrate the return of a season, cause we're back with everything. Back with the way they make sense. Back with the mama with the conscience. Back with the juice. Back with the sauce. The chicken Alfredo. And the fries like a tornado. We're back with everything. Back with the cocktails and the jollof rice. Atarodo with the sauce, the real spice. Back with the master chefs, master classes, and drinks to make your heart go. Back with the bunch, back in the punch. Back for your lunch, your dinner, your breakfast, and back to your lunch. Supporting small businesses and promoting enterprise. The GT Food and Drink Festival is back from Friday, May 1st to Sunday, May 3rd at the GT Center, Plot 1 Water Corporation Drive, Uniru, Victoria Island, Lagos. The GT Food and Drink Festival, promoting enterprise.
Stay
updated, and stay locked.
Are we not seeing it like it's a thing that has been planted and is growing fruitfully?
We talk about justice. Can we get justice in Nigeria as it is?
Struggle to understand whether we are at war.
When a lot of people are saying that government have hands in this insecurity in Nigeria.
They die on a daily basis. Enough is enough. We must put an end to it.
We know that Nigeria government, the law was made by the rich for the poor to obey.
It wasn't as worse as this, and I came to church with my suit and tie. I carried placard from church. We marched the streets of Lagos.
A number of men on maternity lines talking about how their partners have been behaving after childbirth.
It would have been better if the president did not even visit at all.
And take it to the National Assembly, because if they can sleep at night, not worried about whatever it is that we are going through.
The conversation continues right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Because understanding Nigeria starts with asking better questions. Hard facts on Nigeria Info, the nation's #1 talk, news, and sports radio station. Let's talk.
This is Hard Facts.
Welcome back from that long break. Well, we have been talking about the new tax Rev 360 platform by the NRS, which obviously I had stated at the beginning of the conversation is supposed to make life supposedly easier for you. It's supposed to cut off all the bottlenecks. And my guest has been explaining to us what exactly this intends to achieve, but also the timing, which is also a major concern for people. Is this the time for it to be rolled out, knowing the many peculiar situation, or rather the peculiarity of the situation of Nigerians today in terms of economic concerns, the cost of living crisis, the inflation, etc., etc. Well, my guest has been talking about it, especially the timing aspect of it. Mr. Onasanmi, thank you for staying with us quickly before I open up the phone lines, because we have very little time. Could this particular platform push more businesses into the informal economy rather than improve compliance? Also, many Nigerians ask why we should pay more taxes when public services remain poor. And I'm sure that you've heard this in all your years as being a tax expert. Why are we paying so much and we're seeing very little coming from government in terms of development?
Okay, thank you very much. I think the cure to a bad child is not to kill the child, and we need to reckon with the fact that as much as possible, tax revenue is still the revenue that the government will need for the purpose of running governance. In fact, tax, remain the most sustainable, means of running governance, and that is what, even nations across the globe has been leveraging, to run governance. So Nigeria is also trying to see to this. So one of the key objectives of the tax response that we have in Nigeria is to see how we can, leverage technology to increase the tax base rather than going back to the same set of people to collect more taxes. And I believe that you must have heard about the presumptive taxes, that the government is bringing on board to largely address, the informal sector and capture as much as possible into the tax nets. We believe that when this system, fully goes live, there will be a form of integration, also with the presumptive taxes that will capture, the informal sector largely into the tax net, so that government can also, collect a bit more from more people rather than, chasing a few of us. So, and I believe strongly that, at the end of the day, businesses will not be able to shy away from this initiative, or even if you think you want to do all your businesses in cash transaction and not, through your bank, there is a little or a very small business size that you can do, going that route. So if you are aspirational as a business, you want to grow, I think what you should be thinking about is how can I put in place the minimum, structures that will help me to, stay compliant and also position my business for investors' attractiveness. So I think that's what should be running the mind of people rather than thinking about ways of getting out of the tax inclusion program and remaining small as a business.
There is a trust deficit between Nigerians and its leaders, but of course, this question will continue to linger. Anyway, let me just try and take a few calls. Lagos, we have very little time, so call in quickly. 0201-277-0993, 0201-465-7190. I want to quickly just take a few calls before we wrap things up because our time is fast spent. Welcome to Hard Facts. Oh dear. You have to call us back. Thank you very much. 0201-277-0993, 0201-465-7190. You can join the conversation on WhatsApp also. On WhatsApp, you can send me a quick message. I might not be able to take a WhatsApp call, but I can take your messages. So join the conversation. Someone says, so the government can do all this to relate well for tax, but our electric problems, election beavers. Okay, but he's saying, but they cannot do the same for electric, for the electronic voting and beavers. Okay, thank you, Fine, for your question. I'll take a few calls quickly because of time. Apologies if you're calling on the ladies' line is not going. Please call the normal lines. Okay. I guess that our normal lines are a bit faulty, but please call on the normal line. How do we deal with this issue of trust, Mr. Onasanmi? Because there are people who ask if taxation is the real problem, or low compliance, or low public trust. What exactly do you think is the case here?
Okay, so I think the subject of tax education in Nigeria has been treated with a bit of levity, and it's high time that from primary education we need to find a way of integrating it into our curriculum so that the level of tax education in the country can be heightened. When people don't know what is their right and what is their responsibility to make sure that they build trust within between government and the people. That is why we arrive at where we are today. And let me tell you, the promoting trust between government and the people is a collective responsibility of both the citizen and also that of the government. While the citizen continues to engage and demanding accountability. If that is lacking, then the government will find no reasons to stay accountable. I think we need more people that masses, if we can get agencies that we, speak to people about their right when it comes to tax obligation and the role of the government, and begin to demand accountability from the local government level to the state government level, then to the federal government level. People seem to be focused on the federal government level alone, but if accountability structure from the people is structured more deliberately and in a manner that from time to time, the citizenry is constantly demand accountability, I think that the people at the end of affairs will not have any choice than to always have something to report. Otherwise, then there won't be basis. So I believe that is a mutual engagement, that will help us improve our trust quotient.
All right, let's take a few calls. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Hi, Maryann.
Yes.
Thanks to your guest for taking us through the rudiments of taxation. So if I should burden myself with paying my tax, then how do I start holding government accountable? Maryann, since we've been trying to hold the government accountable for paying taxes, all the tax you have paid, nothing has come out of it. And now they're even widening the tax net. And you say of course I should hold the government accountable, but so far so good. Who has been scapegoated or held accountable all through this while? Maryann, to pay tax, no be being so, but then what are they using it for, basically? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling. Literally begging the question that I asked earlier on. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Yeah, good evening. Great, our Queen Maryann Okon. My name is Godwin, calling from Lapway.
Go ahead.
This administration, they came up with different bubble trap for taxation as their major dream for governance. Hospitals. Which hospital will you go and get treatment as a citizen of this country as part of the tax the government owns for its citizens? Which school has government then that are currently in the position of governance? During their time, they had boarding school, free scholarship, both federal and state. Have they made the life meaningful for present country children today? And their own children are over. These tax they'll be collecting. At the end, you see somebody, one of them, using 200 million for vehicle for themselves.
Okay.
And for ordinary citizens in hunger and nothing to show for the taxes.
We have to
It
go.
is wickedness by their conduct. God bless you for your good work.
Thank you very much, Godwin, for calling. We have just a minute to go. Mr. Onasanmi, would you care to respond to the two callers before we go?
Okay, I just want to say that, it's fair for Nigerians to feel that way, based on what they've experienced from the past and even up to now. But we have a situation that looks a bit promising in our hand, in the person of the just appointed Minister of Finance and the coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Taiwo Edele, who was a strong voice of advocacy. I remember when he was on the side of us like consultant, he was a very strong voice advocating for, making sure that the social contract for taxation is actually delivered, by government. I think we have videos on record, we have audios on record. Mr. Taiwo Edele is right there at the center.
That will be a tool in our hands also to hold him to account.
Yeah, you understand. So this is a time that, he needs to be more deliberate about showing Nigerians what our taxes are being used for. Let the hospitals start working, let the roads start working, and that will give Nigerians a better respite, away from what has been the usual experience.
Emmanuel Onasanmi is a tax expert. Always a pleasure to have him in the studio to educate us on what our rights and responsibilities are in terms of taxation, and of course how we should hold government also to account for all of these taxes that we are paying. Thank you so much, Mr. Onasanmi, for coming on the show. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Maryann.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Well, Lagos, that's the show. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be talking about this Ibadan summit from Malaysia's perspective. Of course, we're also going to be having on Thursday the spokesperson for the ADC, Bolaji Abdullahi, talk about the summit from his perspective. We might have the SDP former presidential candidate also come and talk about it's a week of national summits, opposition summit conversation. What exactly is this summit for? Who is it for, you or for me? Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads, MIMIEYY. I love you, Lagos. Bye-bye.
More talk, news, and sports after this.
Back with everything food, back with everything drinks, back with everything good. Celebrate the return of a season, cause we're back with everything. Back with the way the way they make sense. Back with the mama with the conscience. Back with the juice, back with the sauce, the chicken Alfredo, and the fries like a tornado. We're back with everything. Back with the cocktails and the jollof rice. Atarodo with the sauce, the real spice. Back with the master chefs, master.
.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.